I'm a 26-year-old woman who lost my biological father in a vehicle accident when I was 6. At age 35, he passed away. My mother married John, my stepfather today, 3 years after they first met. He adopted me when I was 11 years old and has always treated me like his own daughter. Since he is my dad, I always refer to him as Dad or Daddy. I was reared by him. My 27-year-old fiancée, Ashton, and I are engaged. Last week, both of us went to see my folks. I offered my father a brief massage to help with his shoulder ache. My fiancé behaved strangely the entire evening. He was reticent and kept quiet. His mother inquired about his well-being. I spoke with him on the way home and inquired about everything. He informed me that he was uncomfortable when I kissed my dad on the cheek and stroked his shoulders. He wished for me to sever ties with my father. Since he is my father, I assured him that I would never do this. When I was a child, John kissed and hugged me, not inappropriately, but instead in a way that made me feel bad. So Ashton said, "No, he isn't your father. Your father is dead." I ordered him to stop the car and broke down in tears. He didn't, and we had a quiet drive home. I tried to leave the house after packing my belongings in a bag, but he locked me in our bedroom. I recently made a 15-minute phone chat to my best friend. "I should wait for her," she said. She contacted me after 15 minutes to let me know that she had gone to our garden and retrieved the ladder, which was already there. As quickly as we could, I climbed out the window with the bag. We ran to her car and got in it. She parked the automobile a few houses away in order to hide it from my fiancé. I received a ton of texts and missed calls the next day from Ashton inquiring as to my whereabouts. I chose not to respond. I've been staying at my friend's house ever since. When Ashton discovered my whereabouts, he approached me and wanted to speak, but my companion ordered him to go. Since he didn't check with my parents or other acquaintances, I was quite perplexed as to how he found out where I was. I will therefore be joined by my pal and her partner. We ask that you please listen to us. In addition to being wrong, what he did might have been a major criminal. He has attempted to coerce you into leaving your family behind, and by keeping you inside your room and not allowing you to exit the car, he is effectively abducting you. This man is dangerous, and if you choose to stay with him, there's a good chance he'll succeed in isolating you from your family and escalate his abuse. Don't marry males who keep you locked in your rooms after he does. Never once have I needed to utilize a ladder to exit my own home. I beg you not to return to him. I appreciate your advice. When he gets to work, I intend to gather my belongings and depart. Don't go alone, please. He has already forced you to do something against your will. He may do it again, or worse. You can request an escort when you go by calling the non-emergency police number if you don't have a couple big guys to go with you. Then you'll be able to prove to witnesses and records that you didn't harm his property, and that you simply took what was rightfully yours. I'll be with my pal and her partner, so don't worry. We ask that you please listen to us. In addition to being wrong, what he did might have been a major criminal. He has attempted to coerce you into leaving your family behind, and by keeping you inside your room and not allowing you to exit the car, he is effectively abducting you. This man is dangerous, and if you choose to stay with him, there's a good chance he'll succeed in isolating you from your family and escalate his abuse. Don't marry males who keep you locked in your rooms after he does. Never once have I needed to utilize a ladder to exit my own home. I beg you not to return to him. I appreciate your advice. When he gets to work tomorrow, I'll gather my belongings and head off. And never wed a man who tracks you down with tracking apps. First update. I appreciate your guidance. I chose to move out of Ashton. I'm going to pick up some clothes, belongings, and some photos I have of my biological father, because those are the only things I have of him. My friend and her partner will accompany me when he is at work. Tomorrow I'll provide an update. Second update. I appreciate all of your guidance. In any case, my pal visited my place with her partner. We placed my phone there so that in the event that he finds it, he will believe that I am present. Since he wasn't home and I was able to retrieve some of my belongings, I assumed he was at work. As we were heading out, he appeared out of nowhere. It appears that he wasn't at work. I ignored him and wanted to leave, even though he tried to grab me and apologized and said he wanted to talk. He attempted to grab me once more, but my friend's boyfriend restrained him and ordered him to stop. My friend and her partner got in the car with me and we took off. I went to acquire a new phone and got my number changed as well. When I told my parents, they were taken aback. We'll go to the police to obtain a restraining order, and my dad said he'll speak with one of his legal buddies. Complete update. Hi, a lot has happened in the 3 months since my previous article. I would first like to express my gratitude to everyone who tried to assist me and offered advice. There have also been some who claim that my tale is untrue. I honestly don't care what you think, that's all I have to say to you. Whether you believe me or not doesn't benefit me in any way. I received a great deal of assistance in the end, and I appreciate it. Thus, as I mentioned, a lot of things occurred. I told my parents about it first. They were so enraged with Ashton that my dad wanted to come over to my place and give him a real beating. However, he didn't. I didn't want him to get into any problems, so I told him not to. After he phoned a few of his pals, he and I took a car to my place. Ashton tried to touch me or something when we got there. I'm not sure exactly what he was attempting to accomplish, but one of my dad's buddies blocked him. I took most of my belongings with me and my dad while they were monitoring my ex. I'm not sure how, but Ashton managed to escape my dad's companion and began hurling objects at my dad and me. He hurled a photo frame towards me. Ashton began yelling and beating at me. He broke additional stuff and wrecked some of my furnishings. He threatened to break up with me and insulted me. He even attempted to choke me, but my dad, who happens to frequent the gym and is rather strong, was able to stop him. After my dad shoved Ashton to the ground and his friends assisted him, we were able to get the remainder of my belongings. Naturally, we made a police call. As they got there, they handcuffed him. He began to yell and abuse me once again, but it was obvious that he had no chance of getting away. He said that my leaving him was a witchcraft and that I was just making the biggest mistake of my life. Yes, I did file charges against him and obtain a protective order. After a while, it was really simple because I had numerous witnesses in addition to the messages he sent. I could have easily changed the locks and thrown Ashton out of the house while he was in jail, but I was and still am too afraid to be alone in this place. The unfortunate part is that I didn't own the house. The majority of the furniture was purchased by me using money my biological father saved for me. On the documents, all that was written was my name. I never wanted to go back there, so I made the decision to sell it. In any case, I spent some time at my parents' place following this occurrence. I even started going to therapy because I was too afraid to be by myself. Ashton made numerous attempts to get in touch with me and even paid a visit to my parents. He attempted to break in at night, but my dad caught him and set off the security alert. My dad then phoned the police, who took Ashton with them. Did I mention that I sued him for damaging my valuable furniture? Ashton's employment was terminated as well, presumably following notification of his actions by an unidentified me person. These days, despite the seeming dire state of the world, I'm doing fairly well. I found a new job with better salary and moved into a new flat in another. I'm still in treatment, and I don't think I'll be quitting anytime soon. Once again, Reddit, I appreciate your advice. Let me now offer some feedback. Well done in severing ties with him. I owe Reddit and the public a debt of gratitude for their support. First of all, wow, you're such a strong person, and I think it's incredible that you broke up with him. It's mind-boggling that a harmless communication might have exposed his insanity, as I doubt he had displayed any signs of obsession previously. I'm glad it didn't happen while you were married and had kids. Be careful. You made the correct decision. Many thanks for it. Reddit, my family, and my supporting friends are all things I consider a blessing. Thank you for your newfound independence. I sincerely hope you were able to heal, but I believe the journey will be a little bit simpler for you now that your loved ones are by your side. Your dad seems like an incredible man. Getting an alarm system installed inside and security cameras outside could be beneficial for your new house. It will ease your mind as you recover. It was hilarious that you mentioned reporting him to his company. The final narrative update is this. I believe my partner is aware of who my stalker is. Original story. I'm a 24-year-old woman who lives with her 25-year-old boyfriend while attending college and doing a part-time job at Starbucks. We have a 3-year relationship. Since the start of the summer, I have been working the late shift. In July, I was walking home when I saw a male figure following me. He had on a gray sweatpants, black sneakers, and a dark gray hoodie. My partner told me I was being overly paranoid when I approached him and asked him to meet me when I was out for a walk. The person turned around and walked back the way we had come when I got close to my front door. My partner told me I'm just being paranoid when I brought it up to him. It's still July, the weather is fairly bright, and I'll be able to see who's following me. I reasoned that perhaps he was correct because the follower didn't show up for the next few days. However, he reappeared in the exact same clothes around 5 days later, as he was on his way home after the night shift. This time he crossed the street on the other side. I even snapped a picture and forwarded it to my boyfriend, who questioned why I was just shooting pictures of people going about their daily lives. He volunteered to accompany me home after the following shift just to make a point, but of course the individual wasn't there. After a few weeks, I noticed the guy was behind me once more while I walked home from work. I contacted my best buddy this time, and she came right over to pick me up. She saw the man too. The man would keep showing up, follow me home, and then vanish as I got to my door, on and off for the next few weeks. I gave the police a thorough description of the suspect when I reported it, and they essentially thanked me. Following this, the man vanished for more than a month. After a fight with my partner in October, I spent a few nights staying at my friend's house. He got really bossy and insisted on seeing my phone. I even saw him waiting until I went to sleep so he could look through it. I saw 2 males following me after I left work at the beginning of this month when I was walking home. They followed me the entire 20 minutes that it takes me to go to work, so at first I didn't think much of it. My guy came to pick me up after I called him. It was too dark to discern if one of the men was the one from back in the summer. This is where I need assistance now. Yesterday, November 24th, 2 of my closest friends were at the mall, and one of them snapped a photo and texted it to me. Sitting in 5 guys together was my boyfriend and the man who had been following me during the summer. They took another, and it was obviously the 2 of them together, as I didn't think it was actually him. He informed me he had been working on a friend's car when he got home. Thankfully, he didn't go through my phone or anything else, and I didn't question him. We've been dating for 3 years. He has never physically harmed or touched me, and he has never made any serious threats. He didn't do anything to me last night that I know of. He has argued with me in the past, but it wasn't his intention. How should I proceed? Although my friends are urging me to go stay at their place, I am afraid to confront him. I'm really torn. I would appreciate any advice. Before you read the update, remember this key piece of advice. Run. Run as quickly and as far as you can. If you need assistance leaving, please visit the website and make use of their resources. I appreciate the link you provided. His buddies are following you to check whether or not you're cheating. Scaring her and making her more dependent on the boyfriend, possibly to avoid a breakup, is more important than her adultery. Run like crazy, worry about everything else later. Gather your essentials, don't turn around, and keep your distance from him at all costs. I'm sure he'll have people watching you, so don't even take anything if you can avoid it. Dress as you like Joey and Friends, and fill your pockets with jewelry or other essentials. Update. I sincerely appreciate all of your help and suggestions. I appreciate everyone's assistance in bringing me to my senses. It's unbelievable that I allowed myself to get so involved in this. Not long ago, I left the house with the intention of going to my friend's place, but as I was leaving, I noticed an SUV parked outside with its lights and engine running. I don't know if it's connected, but I don't want to arouse suspicions, so I've arranged with my friend to leave as soon as possible. It may be later tonight or early tomorrow morning. I sincerely appreciate your support, everyone. When I can, I'll keep you informed. I'm sorry I can't get back to each of you personally. Not that I get much time, but while he's there, I am deleting the Reddit app. I think I'm incarcerated. I'm too afraid to approach the windows at all. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle employment or college. Later on, I'll have to cross that bridge. You are all amazing individuals. For the most recent update, let me say thank you to everyone who has contacted me to offer assistance. With the assistance of my friends and the local police department, who stood with me while I packed up a few possessions and left, I moved out late on the night of that post. I wish I could claim that the issue has been fixed. The police officers proceeded quickly past the SUV that I had described in the update. I finished writing a police report, the extra information from which I added to my summertime report. I had a safe place to stay, the police assured me, and that was that. For the past 3 days, I have been staying with a good friend who I trust. During her work hours, I haven't left the house. I've spent a significant portion of the day in bed. I'm stressing out because some of the messages that have been sent to my email and comments made on my post have made me feel even more paranoid and anxious. I'm starting to see how real this scenario is. My friend's tires had all been slashed as she left the house this morning, December 2nd, to travel to work. I was foolish to believe that the issue wouldn't follow me to my friend's home, which was only a few blocks away from my boyfriend's flat. And the fact that I've now drawn my friend into this only makes me feel worse about myself. It's been a freak-out day for me. Despite reporting this to the police, my friend has stayed at home the entire day, and I don't think they can do anything about it. I want to turn around and go. I'm worried that my brother's insistence on driving to pick me up will only cause further problems. I'm not in a position to pay for counsel on this, and the well-known support groups I've contacted, many of them were recommended to me by Redditors, have so far been of little to no assistance, providing rather condescending general advice. I've been informed that he hasn't directly pursued me, attacked me, or threatened to harm me, so a restraining order is currently out of the question. I'm propelled by fumes. I am at a loss on what to do. I think my only choice is to simply flee back home, leaving my work, my college, and my friends to deal with this catastrophe behind. He prevails. Right now, I'm at a loss on what to do. I have no more options. I sincerely appreciate all of your counsel, correspondence, and support. Finally, some guidance. In all honesty, it's not a bad idea to go and recover in order to determine what you want to do with your life. Maintaining the pretense of normalcy is simply untenable. It makes perfect sense that you need a break because you're worn out and fatigued. After taking a semester off, continue. Is it possible for you to receive mental health support or counseling while attending your school? I just read the first post you made. You have such strength. You're capable of doing this. Turn off location on your phone and all of your apps, change all of your passwords, file another report, install cameras on your friend's house, and see if there is another place you can stay. Establish a buddy system with your friends so that you may text them your whereabouts while you're by yourself. Apps exist that accomplish this. Establish a system where you check in with a security guard once every few hours. Jot down everything that occurs, including times and dates. Consult a professional. Consider hiring a private investigator to follow them around and gather the proof you require in order to obtain restraining orders. I believe you ought to accept your brother's offer. Take a break for a semester to heal. That is not a cause for shame. More people than you might think do it. He only succeeds when he receives the attention he desires, for instance, when you get in touch with him. Simply submit as many reports as you can, then stop there. Remove him from your life. That's where healing starts. By surviving, you succeed. Since you're the one who's obsessed, I doubt the buddies would care that there was any mess left behind if you left. Even though it is unpleasant to feel as though you must withdraw, consider this. Some dominating, abusive guys have the potential to become like vicious dogs. You might detest having to flee from it. The fact that you have to back down when you weren't doing anything illegal is incredibly unjust. But are you just going to wait for it to take your leg off while you hang around? You are able to change schools. You are able to get employment elsewhere. You do not inherit a second life. That brings this video to a close.